I'm building a corrugated fountain. So the idea with this fountain is, build it. I try to make something eternal, something extraordinary. A Grashow Bernini. But in the end, the plan is to set it out someplace and to have the rain and the elements wash it away, like the Afghan Buddhas, like the World Trade Center, like everything has its time. All artists talk about process, but the process that they talk about is always from beginning to finish, and nobody really talks about full-term process, to the end, to the destruction and to the dissolution of a piece. Everything dissolves in an eternity. I'd like to speak to that. Now I'm in the seashell learning curve, trying to figure out how did God make these seashells? I mean, they're impossible. They're so simple and so brilliant. There's this spiral that goes on, but how did it become a spiral? I don't know. And how can you get cardboard, to turn into a spiral? It's impossible. Sometimes you become a victim of your own process. My God, cardboard, should be done. No problem. Build a. I built sea serpents. 70 feet long. You know what I mean? In two days. In 2 days. I'm working 2 days on a seashell. On a seashell. Right? It's ridiculous. And you know it. The insanity quotient starts to enter into your mind. What am I doing? And why am I doing this? I mean, why do I have a compulsion to make this right? I mean, who cares if the spiral really doesn't flare out? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Having the idea of the piece dissolving should be unbelievably liberating. But it's not. You're still a victim of your own process and your own pathology. I've been trying to work all of these splashes out. These pieces coming over and under so that they sort of overlap and interconnect. And I wanted to keep all this negative space, everything really working. You always feel your mortality, but you get older, it becomes undeniable. You know what I mean? It doesn't become some sort of abstract metaphor that you deal with. It becomes an absolute reality. I love life. I love it, and I'm terrified of not being here. Everybody builds a life, you know what I mean? In the face of mortality, in the face of everything being destroyed, why do we work so hard? You know what I mean? Like, why do we try to build? I mean, why do we? Why? It's incredible. And that's what I think of when I'm doing stuff. And it seems to be what everything is really all about. That this that heroism and honesty in your work, in the face of the void, right? So,
I think that the idea of letting your work dissolve, one of the great idolatries of the artist is that they think that their work should be worshipped because their work will outlive them. But their work, even though it might outlive them, it's not immortal. It does die at some point. Fire, flood, just exposure, it does die. And we deceive ourselves to think that all of the stuff we acquire makes us eternal. And I think that the idea behind this piece, it's related to, you know, those monks who create these great sand paintings, and then as soon as they're finished, after months and months of labor over it, they just sweep it away. That the art is about just the gift of creation, that we have this ability to create, that we celebrate that, not that we can conquer time, but rather that we can make the most of the time that we have by making it beautiful and meaningful, and living up to our potential. So I think by owning publicly the decay of a masterful work, I think it's really courageous and at the same time mournful.
That's pretty labor intensive.
Everything is labor intensive, you know. So the thing is, you have to keep focused. You have to keep doing it, and then you develop a rhythm, you know. So I figure if I can get just 3, 4, maybe 5 little waves a day, you know what I mean. Eventually, the whole thing will fill up. The thing is just to keep on. Keep on doing it.
One of the great things about being an artist is being free and doing something heroic that nobody wants. I was making these giant figures, of 15-foot high figures, you know, and I remember sitting up on a ladder. I have an incredible memory of taking, you know, the red thread and putting threads in the eyeballs for the veins and in these big giant figures, and I kept thinking to myself, how great is this? I mean, how great is this? If the illustration and every other part of my life was a way to legitimize myself so that I could pay for my habit of standing out on the ledge and doing stupid things, then I was willing to do that.
I want to go out like an incandescent lamp. You know what I mean? I want to leave nothing on the table. So, you know, I figure 6 months. I don't know if this is the final epic, right? But you know, I'd like to approach it as if it is, and leave nothing on the table. So.